Hello, hello. How's it going, y'all? We're so back. How are y'all doing? Back from a little vacation. Ready to do some game dev. All right. Down to Jam ratings came out. They're here next to my head. We got second place for art, which is pretty cool. Pretty proud of that. Everything else is pretty bad. Emotional delivery, I think we could have gotten really good if we had had any audio. I think that was the real kneecapper for that. All our other scores were pretty bad. Gameplay really dragged us down. Gameplay and overall. But you know, we tried to do one thing well. We tried to do the art. That was the real focus, and we got second. And you know, I can live with that. Definitely a lot of lessons about what to do. And I'm working on a little post-jam version that will try to address some of the issues. So more to come there. But just wanted to wrap that up. Just mention it here at the top of the stream. Otherwise, I took a little vacation last weekend. It was great. Played a lot of board games. And now it's back to work. Hey, Nix. How's it going? How are you been? All right, what were we even doing when we stopped last week? I honestly couldn't tell you. Guess I could check Git. Oh, Nix, you figured out what's wrong with your little DIY microphone? Great, that's great. Let's get the right repository here. Freaking ADC. I don't even know what that means. Analog to digital converter, thanks. Oh, hey, Project Unfarmed. Thanks for the hydrate. Thanks for the stretch. How are you doing? Oh, your that part of it was just fried. Yeah, that's always really fun to find out which part of an electronic combination of electronic items is the part that's fried. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I took a vacation. It's my first day back since Thursday. So, a little vacation. Just got out of town for the weekend. Back at work now. All right, what did we do? We made some changes. Pared down the door proxies to only render the actual face of each door. Oh, yeah, that's right. Deferring to the other bulk faces for rendering the side or top of the block. Yes, that is what we did. All right, that's good to know. I'm going to change the music. Nix, you hooked up an audio jack to the circuit. You're getting back sound. It sounds cleanish, just very quiet. You got to build a box for this and separate the condenser mic so it has its own housing. But even without a Faraday cage, the output sounded kind of clean. Okay. Huh. I don't know anything about any of that. But it sounds pretty cool. All right, so I guess it's auto tiling rules. Kind of want to clean up any remaining edgewise issues, encapsulate that a little bit, and then get to the corner cases. I think I would like to do that. So let's do that. That's a good opportunity to remember how any of this works anyway. It is cool. What are we doing today? Yeah, I don't know. Auto tiling stuff is still not done, so could work on that. We gotta learn it. We gotta learn it about the corners, you know. Does not know about the corner cases, so we get those rivets. Also, oh yeah, we get these weird lines inside, but that's because we decided this weird solid view is not a thing that we're gonna support, so we've stopped attempting to. Are there any other situations where that causes a problem? Like, what if I do this? Yeah, it seems to be okay. There's a slight issue there, but I think we can live with it for now. But yeah, tomorrow is the next episode is episode 250, which is pretty crazy. This is already technically our 250th episode because we started with episode 0. But it's pretty wild to think about. We're not going to do anything really. I think we're going to do something more on episode 256. I think that's that Power of 2 episode is really what we want to see. Or when we're going to take an opportunity to do something kind of weird, which will be to like look back at episode 128. And during episode 128, we looked back and saw episode 64. So it's kind of it's going to be this kind of recursive, like each time we hit a Power of 2 episode, we can go back and see what we've done over the course of the project, broken up by ever increasing spans of time. It's going to be kind of fun. All right, so yeah, that's great. So when we draw a door, the only thing getting drawn is the one panel at the front that's actually the door. Everything else is being drawn just with the normal floor and wall pieces. So it's not being handled by... Whoa. That's wrong. That's wrong for both of these. Oh, you know, the invalid block thing is going to be a little weird. I think I have to fix that. So they need to come over by 8. And then down some number. Okay. The invalid door. We didn't actually change the origin. Special episode 255 or 256 then. Well, it'll be 256. Because nobody's going to care about it's going to be episode number 256, not the 256th episode, which is going to be a problem forever. I've stopped doing that for any of the other series. You'll notice hopefully no other series starts with episode 0. It was funny, but now it's just confusing. What day is that going to be? So 250 is tomorrow, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. Okay, so I think it's going to be next Friday. Not this upcoming Friday, but next Friday. That's hardly strictly. There's not going to be a stream that day. So I guess it'll be Tuesday the 7th. So a couple weeks from now. That'll be fun. All right, so we're fixing this thing. So it's these. So these alt tiles we've made temporarily. I don't know what I want to do in the long run for the alt tiles, but for now we're just going to do this. These are like the invalid tiles. So you should be... You should be different. You should be -8. -8. That doesn't seem right. -8, 9 feels weird. This is -8, 10. Why is that correct? Oh, because I've trimmed the bottom. Right. -8, 10. If we had a Friday stream, it could have been a thank Godot. It's Friday the 256th. That's pretty funny. The problem is it would be Friday the 257th. No, it'll be good. It'll be good to do it at the beginning of a week. It'll be nice. But yeah, there's a music festival, not this weekend, but next weekend, that I always go to. It's just a free one in the city here. It's incredible. 3 days of just music and sunshine in our big park, in Golden Gate Park. Big free music festival. It's so good. Yeah, I'm actually doing that instead of Ludum Dare, even though I was like, man, I would love to do another game jam like right away. I think it's the same weekend as Ludum Dare, which is annoying. And it seems to always be the same weekend as Ludum Dare. It's a hard choice. But I choose music and sunshine and all that. All right, that should have fixed that. We should have a little placeholder for when we draw bullshit doors that don't work. Yeah, I actually kind of want to change the drawing tool is maybe what I want to do today. So that when we do that carving out thing, we, instead of just drawing solid blocks like this, we create like a room like structure. The only trick is we can't allow this. Maybe it just draws a corner when we do that. This formation's illegal, the 2x2, because it leads to, yeah, it leads to problems. All right, but if we draw a door, if we draw an illegal door, it should be fine. Okay, there we go. Kind of weird, but works for our purposes. Very clearly is a broken door. Maybe I want to do something silly like the missing image icon. I don't remember what it's called. But like, I think you know what I mean. When like a JPEG is like busted or something or can't be found. Cool. All right, I think that's it for that. Yeah, let's work on the tool. Let's work on the block drawing tool. Why not? Sometimes I write what we're going to be doing in the YouTube description, and then I feel like I'm kind of pigeonholed into doing that, but I didn't do that this time. So think I can kind of do whatever I want. I do want to fix these corners soon, though. Maybe we do the corner rules first and then try to encapsulate the behavior a little better. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I allow this either. All right, to the tool system. Previously, when I've implemented this, it was a kind of convoluted process. Let's see if we can make it a little better. So we want place. We want continue. Oh, excuse me. All right, so the way this currently works, I need a big cup of tea in a bit. All right, so when we hit a command with an argument of continue, that's like after the initial frame where we've started the placement. So we continue on. Clipboard active, I don't know. All right, we set some boundaries. We look at overlapping. What we really do is clamp the bounds to be within the range. Do we want to do that? Maybe not for this purpose. Well, I guess we should do that. I think it helps actually if this boundary is not limited, like if we don't clamp it. Because then we can have open... I don't know, maybe not. Block eraser mode, erase new active blocks. Sure. Else place new active blocks in the bounds. Reveal inactive blocks. Okay. Prior bounds is bounds. So what we should do here is we should just have a little function that's like... Because actually what we want is as we expand out, we want the walls to move out. We want like the far walls to like recede. So that's going to be like redrawing. So we can say place compartment. We could say place new compartment. Because this is going to overwrite what's underneath, is kind of how it's going to be written. Let's say place new compartment. Why do I have two sets of bounds? For each coordinate in active.getOverlapping bounds. Or get non-overlapping. Ah, okay. No, we don't want to do that. We do need this buffer though. And it needs to be rewrite. So here we can just say for each coords and bounds. I think I have a utility function to help me. Actually, what we can do is we can just get a smaller section. In large, I want to do the opposite. I want to end small. Or I can just get non-overlapping with a slightly smaller bounding box. I like marginal. Marginal is just a quick check. It does a shrink of the bounding box. It shrinks the bounding box and then does a containment check. And it's marginal if it's contained by the bounds, but not contained within the shrunken bounds. I feel like I could use this here. This should probably be is marginal. I don't know. Is marginal. I guess this could be a variant of margins. Or a variant of overlaps with a margin. Maybe this should be called within margins. Within margin. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. Going all the way down here. So we can do that, or we can do it a little more directly by generating a list. And just passing in a smaller bounding box. Since we're processing or we're iterating a list anyway, that seems like a reasonable thing to do. So first thing we can do is we can make all the walls and then shrink all the walls inside. Or remove all the walls inside. So we'll probably say something like... So we can say bounds dot get non-overlapping, or get overlapping, I guess, with bounds dot shrink. Vector 3i dot 1. So this will shrink the bounds, get what's inside of it. That can make that can set those to be floors pretty much. And then this outer section is going to be just the walls. There probably needs to be a thing where we specify that if a wall is removed, so is the door. Erase. Block existent, block outgoing, existent dot remove forms, outgoing dot form. All right. This needs to get a little more complicated. It needs to say like return existent dot. What does outgoing mean? Outgoing is like what you want to remove, right? Return outgoing dot form switch. So we switch based on the forms we're going to be removing. This is the simple case. So yeah, if we're supposed to be removing the floor plate, you would need to have existent.remove forms.deck forms.door. So you can't have a door without a floor. And this is kind of it. This is kind of how we're doing this. Same thing here. We're going to say remove forms bulk or forms.door because you can't have a door without both of these things. Forms.both, same deal. All right, so that erase is a little more complicated now. Is this only accessible internally? I feel like that's true. Private. Hey, DIGITAL. How's it going? How was the vacation? It was good. It was good. I played a lot of board games. A lot of board games. It was fun. I drank some wine, ate some cheese, caught some rays. It was good. How have you been? You've been busy, it looks like. Kind of everyone was busy. It was kind of amazing to watch the Discord just continue to hum along. Everyone's working on their project, sharing stuff. Real nice. I was like sorry that I couldn't like more directly engage with all the stuff going on over the weekend, but it was really cool to see. Real cool to see we've got a little community. All right, so this should be good. I feel like we're going to have to add select back to our full list of forms here, but we're not going to do it right now. All right, so now we should be able to erase specific things. So we can just say erase the bulk, and that will erase the door, which is great. So if we're adding a block, we add a bulk, and we remove any door. And that's weird. That's going to cause an accident. That's old. We got to get rid of this line. That seems correct. I'm going to regret doing it this way at some point, but, you know, for now, it's okay. We can eventually just query, like, forms.deck could have, like, a list of forms that are compatible with it. Or exclusive, a list of exclusive forms, and we can just look something up like that way. Like, remove any incompatible form for this form. Instead of, like, naming them all literally here. Or, you know, enumerating them with these bitwise ors. Diginanigans, you're not doing too bad. You're making progress on a few different things with tile stuff. You've been working on your map editor, and now potentially about to go down yet another rabbit hole with the pixie editor. Yeah, you were just a hound dog, just chasing these rabbit holes. Or maybe more like a terrier. It's a lot of energy to do that, to spend on all those tools. I get it though. I get it. I want my workflow to be like pristine. Like I don't want to have to do anything extra. I want to make creating assets really easy. Because that's something that often needs to be done and redone. Unless you're like, even if you have really good production pipeline and like you have a lot of experience, art still has to get redone a lot. Like code does too, obviously, but art gets remade all the time. All right, so now when we do this, we go through this list, and what we're going to do is we're going to say erase and merge are not really sufficient verbs for what we're doing here, right? Because we're replacing. We need to like guarantee that. I guess we could just pass in the current block, or we just pass in the outgoing block, right? When we receive an erase, we receive a block. So I could just say, well, I need to make sure that we also have a bulk. So I don't know what I want to call this. Maybe we just merge the floor blocks and then erase everything else. Seems fine. We don't really need to send it the full set of coordinates, do we? We can just send them a buffer, right? Oh, no, it's going to do the whole buffer. You hear that, Digi? You'll see how much work it is to do what you want to achieve this stuff, and if it's worth the trade-off. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I feel like front-loading all of that work is smart, though. Because then it makes the trade-off harder to calculate when you're already, like, sunk into a ton of content. Against the things you're wanting to work on, though, will be permanent quality of life improvements and not just to the game. So if it's feasible, you're happy to do it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. You're working on tools that, you know, they'll be useful to you always. They might even outlive the game, right? Depending on what you want to do. All right, so this is a little trickier. I think I need a new function that's just like exclusive. Or maybe we could have a merge that passes in an exclusive function, or we could say something like, yeah, we could have a version of this where there's a bool and it's like exclusive. So like the incoming block is exclusive and erases everything else that's in it that's not part of the incoming block. I could also just make a new function called like replace instead. Instead of just trying to shoehorn another characteristic into merge. Because an exclusive merge is like just a full replacement. I think I'm going to do that. So we'll say something like private static block replace. Actually, replace doesn't even need one of these private functions, does it? Just say public static void replace block buffer 3D read write. Oh, we need an index? Oh, okay. Sure. So we're going to say buffer.span index equals it's just going to be block with block dot form, or with form equals block dot form. Or what we're going to do is we're going to say buffer dot span index with. This is how we'll do it. This is what I'm doing for erase all. Why does erase all? Buffer. Oh, it's just, I see. I don't think erase is a good word for this. It should probably be remove. Okay, we should be able to easily just swap this out now here. So here we could say this, and we could say block dot replace. We could say block dot deck. We could say blocks. And index is I'm going to call this buffer. We pass in the buffer and we say buffer dot get index coords. We're also going to say for each vector 3i coords in bounds.get non-overlapping. Here we're going to say bounds.shrink vector 3i vector 3i dot 1. All right. So here we're going to just say block. We could just say merge. We'll say block.both. So we want to make sure we get a floor piece in there if we don't already have it. Output.set the only inactive blocks output.set coords. Okay. There's an input and output buffer for this one. Where do we use this? Oh, right. Okay, so instead of placing new active blocks, what we're going to do is we're going to say place new compartment. I think it just needs this. That might be all we need to do. It'd be pretty cool if that's all we need to do to make this work. Let's see. I feel like I do need to do something here. Oh, I need to do something with the hidden blocks. Are you just a hash set? You are. Is add really a triad? Well, we'll just try to add. You can say hidden blocks.add coords. There's no containment check happening here, which seems bad. So we can actually support that sort of thing in this. If we... Oh, that's why we want to leave these here. All right, I have an idea, but... excuse me. Let's try this first. Oh, look at this. It defends... It protects itself. It doesn't let me make a 2x2 set of walls. It won't let me. I didn't even have to code that in. That's just a characteristic of the overlapping function. It just gets an empty list back. Neat. All right. Well, the one trick is we don't want this to happen all the time. We want this to happen under certain circumstances here. We want, like, you need to be able to, you need to pick this tool. But this is kind of what we want. We want this overlap thing. Although this is gonna let you make these illegal shapes if you're not careful. It's the problem. But we can work around this. That's where you would do like a this is not valid kind of analysis there. Huh. Kind of funny how this works. Okay, that's not bad for a first attempt there. So what we want to do. What happens if I go off the edge? I didn't check that. Okay, it stops you. That we don't want either. So we want to get rid of this clamp step. That requires safety. It requires the safety line here everywhere, which it seems like I'm using it everywhere. We can just have this set up like this. Where is it? Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. Quick containment check. Slows us down, but we spend so little time here. This is not a major concern. Right, what this should do is it should let me make a partial room going off the edge. Yeah, like that. That's the way I want that behavior to be. Yeah, sick. All right, now we just have to get it to only do it during certain circumstances here. So this is going to be a switch in the tool thing.
Maximum warp.
Maximum warp, no jewel. How's it going? What have you been up to? All right, so we don't actually want this in every case. Maybe we should change this to be a little less nebulous. Maybe it should be like place deck plates, deck plate region or something. You're working on a little 2-week game with a friend? Hell yeah, that sounds awesome. What if I do it like this? The only real question is, do we want a, actually, here, we can just call this like a place block region. Just call it place blocks. We could say block, block. We could say replace blocks. We're going to call this replace. Should I just pass in the coordinates instead of passing in the index? Whatever. So replace blocks is what we're going to call. We say replace blocks in bounds. Within bounds? I don't know. Replace blocks within bounds. Sure. Then instead what we'll do up here is we'll figure out whether we need to make... We'll figure out what we need to make here. So if block eraser mode, erase new active blocks, sure. Otherwise, we have this else. We could say we could give it a switch. We want to switch on the active block tool. Say case. What if there isn't an active block tool? Do I screen for that already? I don't. So what happens? Oh, does someone else know about this? Edit system. Oh, am I going to need to sync some of these other buffers? I guess only if they change. Edits, command, argument, next. Who does this? Whose job is this? To figure out whether we have something selected. I bet it's happening all the way down at the input handler, which is kind of crazy, but it makes sense. Let's go look. Input handler. All right, we got ads coming. Hold on to your wallets. Continue selection being oh, the board does it maybe. Why is this yellow? Is that a warning? Oh. Shadowed global identifiers. That's not good. We'll figure that out. All right. So how do we know when this is happening? If event is action pressed interact chords input handler.begin interaction. If game string a place coords begin. Oh, so there's no check for this. We're just kind of YOLOing it here. Okay. Guess that's fine. Currently, you're soldering wires onto the mic capsule that are thinner than hair. Oh my god. Solder doesn't even want to catch it. That sounds crazy. Sounds fun. Well, maybe not fun. It sounds interesting. Also very difficult. I can barely, like, thread a needle. I can't imagine doing that. Excuse me. All right, well, we're in ads. Don't worry, we're just going to hang out here for a second. I think we have this interesting case where nobody is really validating that there is something currently selected. We're just kind of going through the motions here, which is interesting. I think I need to do something. I think I need to check that. We need to check, like, if there's an active block tool. We could say else if. Active block tool is block.deck. Yeah, how do we generally know whether anyone's holding on to anything? Okay, so we set active block tool to be empty. That's what we do. Okay. So we can say, so this can still be a switch. So for case block.empty, we don't do anything. So I need a constant value here. So I guess it's just got to be 0, huh? What we can do is we can say else if active block tool is not equal to empty. So we'll replace blocks within bounds using block.deck. So this is what we're going to do here. Could I just say replace blocks within bounds and then plug in the active block tool? Maybe. But there's a case where we need to do different things. So like for this, we need to say, so for if we're doing bulk, we need to say replace blocks in, and it's not bounds, it's bounds dot shrink vector 3i dot 1. I could also have a replace blocks within margins. That might be the best thing to do. Or we could say merge blocks within margins. So this is going to be deck. Oh, we need bounds.get non-overlapping bounds.shrink. I think this is better than doing a margin check. Let's just only iterate through what we want. And we do all of this stuff. Oh, within margins is not. Should this be a replace block along edges? Something like that? Along margins? I don't know if that's super clear. I don't know. Whatever. Good enough. Place blocks along margins. I think that's fine. So if we're doing both, this is actually erase blocks within bounds. I don't know if I like the word erase for what we're describing here, but it's what we've been using, so I'm going to continue to use it. Should probably be like add forms to blocks within bounds. That's probably what that should be called. So this could be called block.forms. Although, no, that's not the only thing we're doing, huh? That's what we're doing right now. Yeah, erase is fine. I realize there's other characteristics of the block that we either do or don't want to maintain. You gotta clean up and get rid of a lot of these functions. Oh, it's merge blocks along margins. That's what we want right now. Well, I already wrote this one, so make another one. Merge blocks along margins. What's this one? All right, this might kind of work. How do we want doors to work? I guess we're gonna just attempt to merge blocks within bounds. Block dot door bounds blocks. See how that works. All right. Maybe this works. Let's try it. Why not? What could go wrong? All right. So far, so good for that one. This one just adds and removes floor. Well, just adds floors strictly. All right, let's do one with the walls. So this one should make our wall shape. Whoa. Interesting. Okay. This one should work the way we expect it to. Oh, oh no. Why are you doing that? Hmm. Is shrink not doing what I'm expecting it to be doing? Oh, easy. That's easy. That one's easy. Hey, Rikia. How's it going? It's going all right. We're changing our tool, one of our placement tools, so that we can just make rooms without having to solidify an area and then hollow it out again. Just trying to do it in one go. How are you doing? How was your weekend? Hey, Pekarik. You're here already? No worries. We're here. I'm still here for another, for another bit. It'll probably be a short stream today. Getting back into it. Tomorrow is episode 250. It's exciting. Yeah, it's a portal creator, Digitanigans, exactly. Yeah, that was kind of funny. So we want to do... We can just say bounds. Actually, the margins thing is being weird. Why are you being a weirdo? Coords and bounds.get overlap, bounds.shrink margins. Oh. I'm passing in the wrong margins. For one thing. So it's not vector3i.1, it should be vector3i.xy. For one thing. I still think there's something else going on here, but see what that does. You're doing good? You've been grinding Borderlands 4 and Dying Light, the beast. Nice. Yeah, Borderlands 4 looks all right. It's never really been my jam, but it's looking all right. So what if I try to do this without having anything equipped? Nothing. That's what we like to see. Okay, and what if I try doing this with the wall now? Okay, yeah, it's being super weird. The erasing of the floor is the problem here. This should be ambivalent about the tile underneath it, but instead it's clearing it for some reason. All right, case forms.bulk. Erase blocks within bounds. Bulk. Block.bulk. Bounds shrink. Vector3i.xy. Preview blocks. So what are you doing, Mr. Function? Erase block buffer.getIndex. Okay. And what am I telling you to erase? A bulk. Yeah. And what is that actually doing? It was erase. Existent. Outgoing. If the outgoing form is a bulk, remove forms, bulk, and door. Forms.both. Remove forms. Deck and bulk and door. Okay. This so far doesn't explain what's happening, but that's fine. Yeah, why are you so opinionated about this? Weird. All right, this behaving pretty weirdly. It's doing something at its little feet, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. Bounds.get non-overlapping. Is there like bounds.shrink new minimum plus size? Okay. Maximum minus size. Okay. Godot non-overlapping function definitely works. We know that. Bounds.shrink margins. Passing the right margins in this time. Replace buffer span index equals buffer span index with form equals block.form. Oh, well, that's definitely the problem. Well, that's a problem for sure. This should actually be this one here. Should actually say, oh no, it does. Merge blocks along margins. We're having some kind of conflict. Oh, well, that's maybe not helpful. Oh no, erase is an add to the hidden blocks. I think there's something weird happening. I mean, I know there's something weird happening, but I think I'm starting to figure out where. So the deck one's trivial. It's just replacing all the blocks with the decks. The bulk one's a little trickier because what it needs to do is it needs to erase its own walls from everywhere within here, from everywhere within the margin. And then what it needs to do is it needs to try to attempt to merge the wall with all of this stuff. Merge blocks along margins. Get non-overlapping. Yeah, this, I wrote this right? Bounds dot get non-overlapping. Bounds is the bigger one. And then we pass in bounds dot shrink margins. Not buffer. A, B contains cohorts. Continue. Place. Oh, that's a problem. We were telling the block to replace and not merge. That would explain something. Maybe not all of it, but it would explain something. So now we can make some area that's connected with floors. We can do some of this here. Yeah, okay, so this no longer has an opinion about floor pieces. And this is correct because these bulk pieces don't necessarily have to have floors. They could be like decorative underside pieces or something like that. So that's fine. And then this one straight up still doesn't work, I don't think. Oh, no, it does. Huh. Okay, whatever that was the... Oh, nope, there's still this thing here happening. It catches this early... Oh, that's a weird shape. It's not... Yeah, it's not cleaning itself up correctly. It's being weird. Okay, so this one we still gotta fix. Can we make multiple levels of this like this? It's gonna take ages to do the flood fill. That's something we really need to optimize soon. Just the flood fill. Oh, that's a weird. Cutaway system acts weird too. I think if these are disconnected, it should just disappear. Interesting. All right, so these are ostensibly doing the same thing, but one of them is working and the other one is not. I feel like maybe replace should be merge. I think this one should be merge. Let's see if that does all right. I don't think it will. I think we'll see some problems. Yeah, what is happening along the edge here? It's a cleanup step that's being missed is what's happening. I think everything else is fine. Yeah, stuff along the edges is not getting merged or cleaned up correctly, these little floor pieces. What could be causing that? Else if switch. So we do this reveal inactive blocks, prior bounds, settled blocks, preview blocks. Is somebody getting synced? No. This function is not performing its role correctly. We're keeping track of the hidden blocks, so I think that should work. Bounds active. Am I messing something up with that? Chords, parse, game input dot cursor chords. Great. Begin, prior bounds equals new AABB chords. Clipboard active break. Put selection clear. Cursor bounds chords. Projection chords. Bounds. Vector 3i minimum. Anchor chords. Anchor chords. Bounds.overlaps. Preview blocks.aabb. Okay. Block eraser mode. Oh, so we're doing these things to try to like avoid unnecessary assignments, and then here we're just like not caring. We're just doing it, which I think is fine. But for some reason, we're not correctly cleaning stuff up. So we do the reveal, and then we set the prior bounds. Is that correct? Probably. It seems unlikely that the problem is there. The problem is possibly here. We're doing something quickly enough that it's causing the system to get confused. It doesn't seem to happen here when we're just placing rectangles of things. Nor does that happen here when we're just placing these things. Placing walls by themselves, this is like not a good experience. So they're getting cut away and you can't see them. I think I want to change the way that works, but not right now. It basically doesn't care whether there's a floor or not there, but this system one does. And this one is catching these little bits. What's weird is even if I take it real slow, it still happens. This is weird thing. And if I mess around with it, it starts to weird out on me too, I think. Here, let's start over. There's something there. Right here. Yeah, see? You can see it's not cleaning itself up correctly. It seems to be somewhat speed related. Not really, though. Oh, you know, it's probably a side effect of when it's small. Probably only happens when the selection is small, maybe. No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't see a reason why this happens sometimes and doesn't happen other times. Whoa. Hold on. It's adding stuff outside of the area that we are in. Look at that. Look at that. There it is. That's the smoking gun. It's adding stuff outside of the area that we're building things. Fascinating. Oh, are we? We're not checking the size of the bounding box. So if the bounding box is of a certain size, we're actually inverting the bounding box. Because we're trying to shrink a bounding box of size 1, and it's turning itself around and becoming a bounding box of size 3. I think that's what's happening. As it passes into a quote-unquote negative size. That's silly. That's a silly check we just need to make. So with the one line, it adds on both sides to it. Exactly. That's exactly the scenario in which that would happen. So if you have a bounding box of size 1 that you try to shrink by 1 on each side, and you end up with a bounding box whose size is like nonsense. I gotta protect against doing that. What's the best way to do that? I mean, I should probably protect it at the level of the bounding box. All right. Let's fix that. I think I'll be pretty happy after that. Is it because it's trying to be a box? And a line or a wall can't be a box? Yeah, it's trying to distinguish between the margins. It's trying to do something marginally, and the problem is a box of size 1 or 2 that doesn't really work for. Size 2, I think, behaves okay. Because you end up with a box of size 0, and I think it understands that you just don't get anything out of that. But yeah, it's this. When the box is size 1, it's like wrapping itself around in this weird way. Where it's making itself bigger again. I should probably have that here with the shrink. There should be a check, a safety check here. So like if we try to shrink we should ask size greater than 1. Not that size, capital size. Size, or it's not size, it's volume. Well, no, it needs to stop doing that. So it's along each dimension we need to do this check, I think. Here's what we can do. We can say new, we can say return, new. And I think we have to do this component by component. We have to say like minimum dot x is less than maximum dot x. We can say minimum.x plus size. Minimum.x plus size.x is less than maximum.x. I'd say less than or equal to. So what happens if these numbers are the same? So if we add x to one and we subtract x from the other, yeah, we'll get a nonsense. We'll get some kind of nonsense. I did protect against this when I used to just not allow the constructor to build a bounding box of negative size, but I removed that restriction for reasons so that I could initialize something with like weird, where I could say like the minimum is positive infinity and the maximum is negative infinity, just so I could like size it down. But that has this side effect of now it's like not protected against building one. So what's the problem here? So if that is true, so if minimum, so if you add the margin or the size that you're trying to shrink to the minimum and subtract it from the maximum, if those are still equal to each other or the maximum remains bigger, that's valid and we can just do that. What should we do? What should we do if we can only achieve partial success? Like if we can shrink the bounding box, but only so far and not as far as is being requested. Huh. I don't like that. I'm not going to think about that. I could use the center, but the center is a floating point. So I could use the center.x. This is annoying. Maybe this should be a bool. No, it's... Yeah, maybe it could be a bool. It could be like try shrink. I think if it fails, it's just going to spit back out the same. Yeah, we're just going to have it silently fail if it does. Why is this a problem? Oh, this needs to be vector 2. Oh, no, this isn't a vector 2. This is a vector 3. I think it should just silently fail along the axis that it's unable to. It'll shrink as much as it can, basically. Well, no. Here it's either going to completely shrink or just fail. And that's the part that I'm like, eh. I think the fallback point should honestly be the center. We could say center.x. Center is a vector 3, right? Oh no, I see. And it would be floor. Do we want math or do we want math F? Just math, right? Math F. Floor. It returns a float. I want math.floor then. Okay, maybe not. You know, maybe we just truncate it. Okay, what? Excuse me. What is the problem here? Tell me the problem. Create a constructor in vector 3i. What? Yeah. Why don't you think I can use this one? The heck is going on here? What are you expecting? Yeah. Vector 3i is like, no, I don't want to build. Let's say, do I have to like parenthetically fix some of this stuff here like this? No. I don't really understand what's happening here. Int, question mark. What the do I just get rid of? Okay. The comma. The trailing comma. Doom. Just nothing but doom. All right, so this will shrink it. If it's unable to shrink it fully, it will just shrink it to size 1 based around the center. And that is the best that I'm going to do for now. We'll see what happens. This might still cause some weird side effects, but it might help. Crash. Nope. Very much not helping. Actually having kind of a weird relationship here with the bottom end here. Okay, well, for some reason the problem is only along the positive y-axis. So we've done something. But what? Did I write this weirdly? Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Okay, there's some truly insane things happening here. Some really weird stuff. But now we're done. We're done with the weird stuff for some reason. Why was the first couple just behave so weirdly? Uh-huh. Well, for one thing, this shouldn't be allowed, the thing that's happening here. Maybe this shrink thing is not doing it for us here. Who all uses this? Quite a few of us use this. Within margin, margins contains, and not shrink dot margins contains. Maybe what we do here, I'm going to have a version of shrink that doesn't take a variable, and it's just going to shrink by 1, just so we can get this done. And what we're going to do is we're going to worry about larger sizes later. We're just going to say size.x is greater than 1. Then we can do minimum.x plus 1. Otherwise, we can only do minimum.x. This is how we're going to do it. If size is 2, we could still get into this state, huh? No. Yes. Size needs to be greater than... Oh, no, it needs to be greater than 2. So if we try to shrink a thing, and its margins are 0... Well, maybe that's where the center actually is helpful. We can really only do this if the size is greater than 2. Maybe there's an easy way to do this otherwise. let's try this. I don't love this. There's an error somewhere. Shrink. Oh, we're gonna get rid of this within margin function for now. Oh, no, I do need to have margins, but I'm gonna do them as bools. I'm writing this very poorly just because I kind of want to just get something that works. I don't really care if it's good. It can be good later. That's why you shouldn't make your own versions of stuff. All right, wrapping it up here. This is going to be... Nice, nice. Enjoy. All right, let's see what this does. Crash. Okay, it crashes. There's no argument given that corresponds to the required parameter y. Where? Is marginal. Oh, f. Yeah. Does anyone use this function? It says so, but who? I don't think anyone uses this. Everyone has this, doesn't they? Don't they? Or maybe just the vector 3i has that. Okay. All right. Let's see what's going on here. All right. I think we fixed it. Yep. Now we just make little rooms, little boxes. Gonna need a system that evaluates malformed things, like when we accidentally make these double walls and stuff. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that. Maybe some analysis of the neighboring blocks. And if it notices a wall like that, it either marks it or like erases it or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We can also go down though. Well, that looks weird. We got to fix some of that. Huh. EC fix, he says, after we've been like messing around with it for like an hour. Yeah, once we figured out exactly what the problem was, the fix is usually not that hard. The problem is usually figuring it out what the problem is. But yeah, we're just super lazy. I hate everything about this, but it works. So we're gonna leave it for now. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I know it's short. I think we're gonna ease our way back into the stream here. Tomorrow is kind of a big deal. It's episode 250, so that'll be fun. We'll try to have a nice full day, get a lot done, have a good stream. But yeah, I'm still kind of getting back in the swing of things here. So I think I'm gonna call it here. But yeah, we'll be back. Back tomorrow. I'm gonna leave you with this song called "Eye of the Intern." Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Maximum warp.